Okay, by union law, I got to have 30 laborers on. At $18 an hour, you know what $18 an hour is? That's $18 for fucking also workman's comp. So if I pay you 18, you're really costing me fucking 36. Plus the 10 for the union bullshit. So that's 36 and 10 is 46. So I'm paying fucking Felicia Michaels $46 a fucking hour, or whatever the fuck it is. Plus, I gotta fucking give her a 15-minute break for her to scratch her ass and smoke a cigarette. Fuck you.
Right.
So what they do is they take 30 laborers and they take 15 of them and they actually pay them. But then they take 15 poor souls and they pay them non-union wages.
Right.
And they pocket the union wages. And that's who the Mafia gets the payback from.
Oh.
So if you have 15 fucking guys and you're saving $40 an hour, that's a lot of labor fucking. That's a lot of.
Right.
So that's what they do.
Well, why do you think people see past that?
Money. That's all.
No, I see people past that because I'm very confused on what's going on lately and what happens. We forgive. We forgive as Americans. We have to forgive as human beings.
I know, but we always forgive after we really super set someone on fire. And it just seems like he makes so many fires. We're so distracted. It's like, oh, he said this and he did that. No, that happened.
I'm not talking about right now. Forget about right now. I'm talking about 15, 20 years ago. All the little actions that he did then, like the Trump thing. I mean, I said it. And 2 weeks later, the Washington Journal Review had a write-up about it. Trump official ties to Sammy the Bull and Philadelphia. He bought that property directly from the Philly mob. Nobody cared. It was forgotten about. We also live in a society that glamorizes Mafia.
Yeah.
Why did we love Sinatra so much? Because he could sing? No. Because he rubbed elbows with people. He was cool. He hung out with a fucking black Jew. Two other guys. The glamorization.
Right.
If I come to you tomorrow and say I cheated on Terry with some chick, I don't think you'd talk to me for a while. But Tony Soprano did it every week to his wife.
Right.
And you couldn't wait to watch The Soprano. And not one time did you look at me and say, he's a fat fucking little cheater.
Actually, I wouldn't say anything to Terry. But,
No.
But I would say to you, get your shit together.
No. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? That
No, I know.
It's how we look at different situations.
Right.
Right now we're living in a country right now where I could say to you, Felicia, I got to confess something to you. You're going to say what? I'm going to say, when I did the longest yard, I was putting my football pants on one day and Adam Sandler rubbed my nutsack. Now that happened in 2004. And you'd say to me, so did you say anything? No, he's Adam Sandler. That was 12 years ago. Who's going to believe fat
And
fucking
then I'd say,
Joey?
did you enjoy it? What was it like?
But I also have to before I open my mouth and say something, I got to go, well, has he been convicted of it again? Like, it's funny, you and I had this conversation a month ago, and I thought about it, now I understand where we were coming from, why people come out afterwards.
Right.
Because then I was thinking,
you felt very strongly of like, that's not okay. You come out right away
you
shut
come
up.
out right away or whatever. But then you go, wait a minute. All of a sudden one day we're sitting here, Lee has a few drinks, and he goes, did I ever tell you that day in the longest shot, Adam Sandler trying to finger up my ass during the shower scene, and now we got a problem.
Yeah.
Because now he did it to two of us, and now we'll both go public, But at the same time, I always think about what I was doing 20 years ago and what I'm doing today. And I can look you in the eye and tell you I've completely changed that. Like, I don't see a lot of that I used to see before. Like that low-end vine, as you call it, when you're a criminal. So I can't... Are you with me on this? Like, it's rough for a guy like me. If you said to me 2 weeks ago I went to a comedy show and somebody fingered me in the back, we got a fucking problem. You
know what, Joey? I was just having lunch with Jackie Cation and a bunch of comics, and there was a young guy comic that was defending girl comics about how newbie girl comics are afraid at night at the clubs, and I was all like, whatever. And then someone brings up Louis, and I was literally like, I was around Louis for a long time, and he never did anything to me, and so I am suspect. And then all the stuff came out, and you think, and you start to realize you know, people that are predatory are picking people that no one will believe. You know what I mean? That they're going to pick people that if you heard something, you'd be, oh, that girl's questionable, or I don't believe you, or this or that, you know? And I just think that there needs to be a clear conversation of what we're going to tolerate as a society. You know, like if a guy hits on me while I'm at work, you know, that what is the rule? Like, what are the rules? We need to have that conversation. So, like, one part of me is like, God, Al Franken must be a creeper. But then the other part of me is like, wouldn't it be great if someone like that could really have a conversation, like start a conversation of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, you know? Because I think a lot of people are getting called out righteously. And I think I worry about... because I heard a girl comic say, oh, now bookers aren't going to book girls because they don't want to freak the guys out. You know what I mean? It'll go underground. It's like all this shit. Like, let's just have a real conversation about it.
I don't want this to be like, for girls, a handicapped bathroom for comedy. Like now, 2 girls can't get hired because the guy's in the condo.
Right.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody shouldn't. And it's you know what?
Yeah,
I've shared thousands of condos with
me
fucking
too.
women. I've been cool with them.
Yeah.
It's, I've never, you know, what was the word you used? Predatory?
Uh-huh.
I've never been predatory with my hands, but when I used to get coked up, the coke would make me be predatory with my mouth.
Right.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you talk some shit.
I would talk about some shit, but my salesmanship, pussy skills were also getting enlightened, you know. And
Were you good at it?
When I was coked up,
Yeah.
I could talk you into fucking anything.
Yeah.
If you were on the fence, if you were a little coke, if you like doing a little coke and getting fingered, I could get you halfway there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm the type of guy that I never wanted no surprise, because I was such an addict that don't think you're going to come to my hotel room, snort coke, at least not suck a dick or do something like that.
Right.
You're snorting the coke here. We're family. Even if tomorrow we're back to being friends, tonight you got to suck a little dick. You got to show me that monkey. You got to do something. I would set it up before we went to the hotel.
Uh-huh. So the girl knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, I would pull you aside and say, Felicia, I got an 8-ball. We got a bottle of Tito's. When we get there, I got to put you to work a little bit. What do you mean? You know, you got to show me the monkey. We got to do something. Okay. You know the deal. Some people knew the deal going in, so you have to be, like I was, you know, like, what are you going to do here? You're sitting next to this as a accountant. You're going to go home at 11.
But do you ever even worry about saying stories like that? Because I'm sure there's people that hear that interpret that differently. I'm not saying...
I'm talking to you. I'm telling you from an addict's perspective.
Right.
I'm not telling you from a Joe Diaz perspective during the coke years. Like, I was telling this story at dinner about somebody, you know, somebody who saved my life tonight, Sugar Bear. Let me tell you a fucking fucked up story, and you know part of the story. I didn't fill you in on the whole fucking story because I didn't remember at the time. Mm-hmm. We talk on the phone, her and I, from time to time, and we giggle and we're dear friends. If I'm 54, she's 52. But she was hot when I was 15 and she was 13. I used to have an above-ground pool. And when I was about 14, everybody would come over the pool and I had goggles on one day. You know, when you're 14, that's when you start reacting to women, you know. And I was, you know, swimming underneath, and I saw her go underneath. And when she went up, her bikini went down a little bit, and she had the hairiest pussy in the world, and my body just froze in the water. I thought I was going to fucking drown. But she was like kind of like a little sister type. I hung out with her brother, and we all hung out together. And this nothing happened, Felicia. We were tight, and guess what? My mother dies.
Yeah.
My mother dies November 8th, and it's Christmas Eve, and I felt terrible inside, Felicia. I mean, I didn't know what I felt like. I just can't describe the feeling. Like, and we spoke on the phone, and we were fucking howling. You ever know me and you howl about weird things?
Right, yeah.
Like, her and I were howling because I had to tell her what happened. I was with my friends. We got a bottle of Jack Daniels, and we went out, and I bumped into you at that party. And she goes, I remember. And I go, when I was fucking mind-fucking you, I wasn't doing coke that night. I was mind-fucking her from an angle of pain. I just didn't know how to tell her. I did not want to be alone that night.
Right.
I did not want to be alone. I had never really had sex with a girl before, and nothing would make me feel better tonight as if I could have sex with you. And I told her just like that, Felicia. I go, even if you just come over and let me suck your titties. And I don't even know how I said it. It wasn't really in a vulgar way. And I remember I told you I went back. She said no, that she was still too young to lose her virginity. And I remember I told you the story that I went back and I jumped the fence. And I drank at the grave the rest of the Jack, and I kept thinking maybe I should dig my mother up. I mean, I felt horrible that night. Like it was just it was the first Christmas away from my mother.
I can't even imagine it.
And I jumped the fence, and I cried the whole walk home.
Right.
And when I walked in the fucking house, the phone was ringing. And it was her. And she goes, what are you doing? And I go, I just got home, And she goes, are you going to be home for a little while? And I go, yeah. And she came over 15 minutes later. And we made love, and till this day we're best friends. And I finally called her 2 weeks ago and explained to her when she left how I felt. Like it gave me a lease on life. As stupid and as selfish. Like she was an angel that night. She didn't come over and I still remember her bleeding and me holding her like I had never done that before. She lost her virginity, like I had never done none of this stuff before. And I remember her leaving, and like we didn't sleep at all that night. The people I were living with were just coming home. They were playing cards on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. And like that gave me another 3 months of life. Like it wasn't just a piece of pussy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right after my mother died, the chick did give me a piece of charity pussy. She called like a week after. My mother wasn't, the dirt wasn't even stiff yet. And this chick was an old good piece of ass from the old days. I had never made love to her before. I used to finger her and we'd, swap spit and shit.
Sometimes I'm like, what the fuck?
You have to remember he's 15.
I was just thinking how many fucking different finger bang stories I know of yours. And I'm all like, what the fuck?
I was such a Catholic that I wouldn't dare to put my dick in your pussy, Felicia. Like I would rather look at. No, I wouldn't even look at it. I'd finger you through your pants. I even got caught one fingering a German girl.
German girl.
Her father was watching me fingering her. They told her to come in and she couldn't move because my hand were in her pants. She's like, 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, 5 minutes, Pops. The next day they transferred her. But
yeah, sure, yes.
She was at Holy Rosary Academy. The next day they put her like in fucking Jupiter. Up there with Christians up there. But it was funny because when she left that night, like it was, oh no, I was telling you about the other girl that gave me a piece. She told me she had a piece for me. She had never made love to me. I had fingered her behind a barbecue.
That's the third finger story in 3 minutes.
But that's all I did. I used to just finger them at barbecues. That one I fingered at a barbecue at John Bender's house. Oh. And then I walked over together.
Where would he do it at the barbecue?
That's just a terrible visual.
John Bender had a picnic table with like a tablecloth over it.
You do it outside?
Oh, no, I did it inside at the Four Seasons. Yeah, I did it outside. No, I got the room at the Four Seasons when I'm 14. Yeah. The fuck you think this is? Roses?
Isn't there a couch somewhere?
No, there's no couch. I had my mother. You know what it is to bring a girl to Cuban? Listen, here's the weird thing. Like, Felicia, I love you to death. But if you're Spanish, these conversations we have about your boys would not exist.
Why?
You would sit them down and go, here it is, plain and simple. Uh-huh. The first bitch I see in here, she's going in the hospital, and you're going in the hospital. That's how Spanish moms are. Like, you're both going to the hospital for broken bones and other damages. Don't bring one of your skinny bitches over here. Cuban moms do not play that. Like, I used to try for a while, and my mom used to make me leave the door open. Oh, yeah, but we're trying to study. We can't hear your music. I'll put the music down, but leave that fucking door open.
I know.
And if a girl called the house, God forbid, my mother would interrogate her.
But I did that too, Joey, with one of my sons, and I had I don't know if I told you this, but I had done a gig where they were giving out at a gay club where they were giving out condoms. So I had I opened my purse and literally poured them in, and then I gave 15 of them to each of the kids. And then 2 weeks later, my oldest is like, we're going to the drugstore, and he's like, Mom, you got any more of those condoms? And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I bought you 15 condoms. I told you not to mess around with them. He's like, no, I use them. And then I go, what? And I go, with who? And he goes, with these 2 different chicks. And I go, when? And he goes, when you were home. And I'm like, where? In my room. And the door was open. That's how fast it happens, Joey. And I had to say to him, don't have sex over here, Crazy.
When you're in the back thinking of your one woman show.
I know,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm all like,
You're like, I'm Hemingway Jr.
Always trying to emote.
And meanwhile, your son's in there getting his hammer sucked like a savage.
I know.